Ladies and gentlemen, we have been working all day and now it's after work. I'm Joe. Welcome back to another episode of Collector's Edition where we are going through part 2 of our Nicalis special. It's their 10-year anniversary as a company, and why not go through and celebrate the Switch launch edition games that they have come out with. And we're just going to jump right into this. First up, we've got probably one of my favorite Nicalis releases to date so far out of all of them. This is a personal favorite of mine. It'll do 2. It is a top-down. It's a top-down Legend of Zelda like game that you takes place as a girl. She's got like a really vivid imagination. It's all taking place in her backyard, if I remember correctly, and she ends up on an island. There's all these bosses that she has to face, and it's all done with her imagination. Like, it's just all pretend, which is really cool. So without further ado, let's jump into this. Here you go. You have this. Now, last episode we had some focusing issues there, or not some focusing issues, some additional lighting in the background. I do apologize for that. So let's try to do better this time. And we've got back right there, and we actually have some artwork in the back too. We got the homie here. He's kind of like one of the big baddies, and that's the island on the map and everything. Let's put that one down here. Now, speaking of maps, we've got a little bit of a map here as well with a section of the island, which I thought was really cool. It might even be the whole island. Yeah, it is the whole island crammed into this little map here, which I thought was really cool. It's like a pirate map. It's such an adorable game. Oh my god, the music's neat. The bosses are challenging as well, and there's so many secret hidden things that you can spend easily about 15 hours with this game going through all the collectibles, 15 to 20 hours, or you can beat the game in about 10-ish. But yeah, that's just the glory of this game. But here you go, this lime green instruction booklet going on here, and of course that official Nicalis seal of quality, which I've come to love and adore. They have changed it since to just the official Nicalis product. I don't know if they got flack for that, but I always thought it was cool. So there you go, going through the instructions. Let's put a little bit of a focus on there like that. And I noticed in the last episode we weren't things came out a little bit overcompressed for some reason. The video came out good, but the for some reason when you uploaded it to YouTube, it just got even more overcompressed. Plus the lighting in the background didn't help at all either. There's your weapons and whatnot. They gave you a little bit of story and background, but it's just all the enemies and everything, the artwork. Again, it just continues to show how much love that they put into this thing. And of course the game itself, which again, we'll get a nice zoom going on here. There we go. Alright, cool. Moving on from Ittle Do 2. Again, one of my favorites. Tiny Barbarian Dx is criminally underrated. If there are people that have not picked it up that are into that like 12 to 16-bit hardcore platformer, this is it right here. This is actually a really difficult game. This has also got alternate cover as well. It's got some cool things inside too. So here we go. Tiny Barbarian DX. Bam. Bam. I was actually thankful enough to get a review copy of this game, and anytime I get a review copy, if there's a physical or some other means of buying that game, I usually try to do it to show my support as well to the devs that work really hard on these games. So this was one of them where, although I had gotten a review copy for the game, I went out and bought it. There was a launch edition. Like I said before, Nicalis puts a lot of love into their stuff, but here's the original artwork right here. Bam. And this is the cover, the alt cover on the back as well that I put up. Boop. A lot of refocusing that I do on my end. The cartridge, we'll pop out that, and then we'll get into the goodies. But there's that cartridge right there. Oh yeah. I don't even know if that's There we go. Okay, cool. So, first off, they put this thing in a pouch that says Tiny Barbarian DX on it, and then they put this cool little keychain in here, which I thought was adorable. Like, I'm dropping everything. It's the Tiny Barbarian on a giant bee. The game itself has like multiple scenarios that play out. So like each scenario takes roughly an hour and a half to complete. They can get really challenging, but and it's like if you die in an area, you're starting all the way from the beginning of that section that you've ended up in, part of that stage. So it can get really challenging with this game, but the reward, there's a sense of satisfaction when you've completed a stage, especially when you've completed an entire scenario before you move on to the next one, which I think is really hilarious. So here you go. This one reminds me a lot more of the instruction booklet, very much like a Game Boy, but this one in particular, for some reason, reminds me of the Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening DX. For some reason, the color of this cover right here, which we're gonna start opening up right now. And again, just like all the other instruction booklets, we got that artwork, which I'm gonna get a better focus on right here. Bam, there we go. No. I think that's as good as I'm gonna get it. But look at that. They went and paneled out an entire comic book thing for that to work, to give you guys the story of what's going on here. Of course, just like previous, you go through, check out the enemies, the controls, and all that stuff. You got some tips in the back. And what's this? This is, oh, look at that. They go through making the cover art for this game, which is really dope. So you always get these neat little tidbits here, and a little bit of a behind-the-scenes thing going on as well, which I always thought was really cool. My only complaint about this packaging is the fact that this one was actually too big to to fit everything in here, so it does bulge out a little bit. There's just no there's just no way to work around that. So it does pop out. It does pop out a little bit. It gets a little bloated in here, which, I mean, you can't really notice it all that much, but you can feel it, which is just like, it's just a little bit weird. But again, a lot of love in this. Up next, we've got Cave Story. Boom, Cave Story, duh, or plus. Sorry, there we go. Just focusing that a little bit. Which this was the second Nicalis game that came out on Switch, I believe. Also a 3DS port. This game, and sorry for umming a lot, this was also on the 3DS. This was also on the 3DS. I'm sure it's been on other consoles and PC as well. May have even started off on PC. I could be wrong. Somebody quote me on that one. Cave Story. Oh, and 2 characters from this game are going to be in Blade Strangers. I can't wait. I can't wait. This month is gonna be awesome, dude. So let's get the art cover out. And on the inside, I don't know what they're referencing exactly, but they mentioned on Twitter, like, can anybody guess what we're trying to reference here in this back alternate cover here that they've got going on? But this is the main cover, and this is what's inside right here. They're showcasing clearly the other games that they've published as well. 1001 Spikes, Cave Story Plus, and I don't know what this is because I can't read Japanese. Up next, this is the one that started the mini disc collection, by the way. Here's your Cave Story Plus, and I actually lucked out on this. What happened was there was one more left at Best Buy when I went to pick this up, and this was maybe about a month after this game came out. Maybe even longer than that. And freaking, I saw it there and I was like, oh, I'm getting it right now. And it had everything in there. It was like the only one left, I think. There was one more, but it was pretty damaged from what I remember. I was just like, Okay, I'm gonna find one, and it was behind. It was behind, like, you know how sometimes people go through games at a store and then they get mixed up in others. That's why I always go through everything to see if I could find like the best looking package. And of course, you got your silver. Look at this sleek, this, as Paddy Wagon would say, the clean look. And again, official Nicalis seal of quality. They don't do that anymore, sadly enough. And breaking through the entire story, the story that sets up the plot for Cave Story here. But this is a game that I need to really jump back into and finish up, because it's actually a really it's a challenging platformer for sure, and it does that weird thing where like you get to a certain point and it just becomes boom increasingly difficult out of nowhere. So I just want to refocus that real quick just to make sure. I think we're good. It looks good on the camera. Sometimes it does a thing, but they actually warn you about a spoiler, so it does stop. If you turn this page, you may place yourself at risk for spoilers and or insider knowledge that some players prefer to discover without help. And it's actually like all the secret stuff for the clues. They give you the answers too in the back there. So if you are lost, there is a mini strategy guide to some of the puzzles in the back. There you go. So that is Cave Story Plus. Now we have one more. However, it's the one I don't have the launch edition for, so this one will just be the basic Binding of Isaac. Now check it. There are two different covers of this game. The launch edition actually has a brown cover. Then once they went through all the launch edition stuff, they changed out this cover to this blue one. Even down to the cartridge is different as well. The launch edition came out with an instruction booklet, of course, and then it came out with some stickers as well. It had Isaac's crying face as a sticker, and then it had like a bigger sheet of stickers as well, which I thought was really cool. But I'm not spending 60 to 90 bucks on eBay for a game that was 40 bucks. I might go 50 at the most, but it sucks that these get marked up so crazy high because they become a collector's item. And I get it, people trying to make a bang for their buck and stuff like that. But holy hell, man, the pricing that I have seen on some of this stuff, even on the NIS America Collector's Edition stuff, once those go out of print, man, dude, the prices go up. I'm talking like almost double, sometimes 2.5 times the pricing of what they are. Like Disgaea 5 Complete Edition from the NAS America website is about 300 bucks right now, which is ridiculous because the collector's edition I think was like 100 bucks. So that's insanity. That is insanity right there. Anyway, I digress. Let's check out what I do have of this. I'm also going to leave a photo up of before. You guys will see it in there of what the difference between this and the original launch edition was. But here you go, Binding of Isaac right here. The art cover, and they do break down. They were courteous enough to give you the story of the Binding of Isaac here. Now, fun fact, this was originally slated to come out on the 3DS, but due to all the crazy religious undertones and the gruesomeness of the game, which, I mean, I've played Dementium 1, and Dementium 2 is crazy, and that was the DS days. So, I didn't play it on DS days, but, like, those games came out during the DS days, so the fact that this game couldn't come out is crazy on 3DS, but I'm glad it's on the Switch. It is a roguelite top-down dungeon crawler. I use dungeon crawler loosely, but like you're in a dungeon every time. You're in the basement and whatnot. But the mother is like torn into like killing her child and throwing her into the basement and stuff like that. And she's listening to like all these religious things happening and killing your child and all this stuff. It's really twisted. And the enemies you encounter are really, really gruesome and gross. There's a bunch of different characters that you can unlock in this game as well. There's a ton of content in here. And this is one of the very few roguelite games that I actually enjoy. Because you guys know how I feel about roguelikes. This is one that I actually enjoy. And Edmund McMillan is the creator of this game. We did The End Is Nigh last week. The dude that's one half of Team Meat. That's this guy right here. Really, really awesome job with this game. And last but not least is this is the post-launch edition game, so it actually has a different art cover on it. And again, for comparison, I already showed you guys the photo earlier on here. You guys will have seen it somewhere. There you go. There you have it. Oh, right. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. That's gonna wrap it up for the Nicalis Part 1 and 2. This was really exciting. Celebrating 10 years of Nicalis as a company. They have been publishing awesome indie games and making their own indie games like Cave Story Plus. This is... This has been fun, and of course, you know, with Collector's Edition, if anything comes out in the future, I always end up unboxing it here. Sometimes I do show a little bit of gameplay. Let me know if you guys liked the gameplay stuff that I had done in between, like unboxing some of these games before. I can implement that in there if that's something that you want to kind of like really beef up and make it worth your time watching these collector's edition videos. I enjoyed it myself too, but it seemed like it didn't make a difference because you guys really cared about what was in here rather than seeing some of the gameplay because you guys already knew what it was about, or you'd seen me do a Nintendo Spotlight of it or a Pocket Edition episode of it. So leave that in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your feedback. This has been part 2 of our Nicalis special. I will see you guys with another Collector's Edition episode next week. I'm going to try to keep these Thursday as long as I have Collector's Edition episodes to show you guys. And with that said, this is Joe clocking out. I'll see you guys next time. If you enjoyed what you saw here, give it a like, share it with your friends. Let them know what we do here. We play video games after work. I'll see you then. Take care. Love y'all.